Welcome, guys. Filipinos in the Six. We are on our New York City to Cali tour presented by Dear Flor. I'm Silk, life designer number one, aka Pigo the Pinoy Nigo. I'm here with New York's finest, okay, Gherald Alaman, and we are here to learn more about his origins and the beginnings, where he is now, and his future. And I'm super stoked to be here. Thank you for being here with us.
No, thank you for having me.
Man, first of all, the shirt. I was talking to you behind the scenes of this. Tell me a little bit about the shirt. I love this. This is sublimation for sure.
Well, it's Hawaiian, Filipino style inspired. I figure, I represent, show what we wear in general, represent the culture.
Well, what better to represent than wear the flag? I feel like you're about to walk the Olympics right now. You're one of the things. I love this because that's how prideful Filipinos are. You know what I mean? And yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like where does Gherald start?
Oh, well, I mean, it all started when I was basically a teenager. I was trying to break into acting, but what it was is that the agency, they wanted to book my siblings instead. So I was like, you know what? If they don't want to book me, I'll help my siblings out, because I was still trying to grow into my face. I was this little skinny kid with buck teeth, mad acne.
They weren't ready for too much pogi on the scene. They're like, it's too much pogi. We can't have that one. Okay.
Yeah. So, I was like, okay, I'll, help my siblings out. So, I helped my siblings, land a few, industrial gigs. So they, those educational videos and books that you read as a kid, they appeared in that. And then my brother, later on, he started a commercial with me. So him and we did a commercial together. So it started off, in high school. And then when I got to college, I paid my dues. I went to acting school, studied filmmaking. Right. Once I started getting booked, they're always looking for people to be, other actors to fill in like as background. So they're like, oh, do you know anybody else that wants to be in it? I'm like, oh yeah, of course. So I would take care of my sibling. I would take care, my friends that wanted to be in it. And then we would all just be in the same commercial or same short film. So that's how it started. Later on, people just, they remember that I was that person that can bring other people to the set, bring reliable people. So I was like, you know what? I might as well start a business out of it.
So that's how the agency started.
Yeah. Well, we don't really call ourselves agency. We're more of a talent management, so it's different. Agency is more like, it's a different realm. They have different rules and regulations, but we pretty much will help, negotiate a contract for you in general. So if we book a gig with one of our clients, we'll help, we'll be the person negotiating. Right. We'll act as your talent manager. We'll tell you, whether or not, what school you should go to or type of headshots, who you should go to, things like that. So
because as I understand it, management and agents find you the gigs. Management take care of it once it's found.
Correct. Yeah. So pretty much. So management, we're just trying to guide you from the beginning to the end. Yeah. So that's
and when did you start this again? What was the?
Oh, so we started the company back in 2007. So that's when we launched. So.
What year is it today? 2024? 2007. How many years is that? My math is
it's 17 years. This is our
17 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Congratulations. That is a huge step to be over a decade.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So now from where it was to now where it is right now, what does that look like? Kind of like how many people was it in the roster in the first year, and then how many is there now? And is it exclusively Filipino based?
Well, no, it's not exclusively Filipino based. So it's very multicultural. So we represent all ethnicities around the world. And we started out in 2007. It was just 100, and now we've grown. Like on LinkedIn, we have almost 15,000 members in our LinkedIn group.
15,000 people that you represent.
Well, not represent, but we have access to.
We have access to. Okay,
so
great.
If we needed to,
15,001, because count me in.
Yeah, so 15,000 there, and then we got at least 1,000 in our own database, and then We got 1,000 in our Facebook. So we have a Facebook group called Talent and Skills.
Okay.
And we have at least 11 around the world. So you just join the nearest one in your country. So it'll be like Talent and Skills Canada. And we share everyone's casting calls. So it's not just ours, but it could be someone else's. So we try to help you find these casting calls to make it easier for you. So that's how we do it.
How has the landscape in 2007 and compared to now, how has it changed in what areas and
I mean, it's a little bit more diverse, but I'm not sure if it's just a trend.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's not. So hopefully, casting directors, producers, and filmmakers, hopefully they're trying to make it more mainstream, make it more like, they really care about representing everybody. So, what I do is I try to make, my clients or filmmakers, whenever they come to me, sometimes they'll ask for a specific ethnicity, but I'll also present other ethnicities.
Right.
I'll just say, hey, how about we bring in this person too? I think they would be great for your project. Let's make it a little bit more diverse. So I have that input there.
Perfect. I mean, that's, like you said, we hope that it's not a trend. We hope that it is something that keeps going on to diversify Hollywood, if you will. I do have a bunch of questions here that I would love to dabble into, and these are, again, really great questions. There's a lot, let me see. Ooh, okay. Well, I mean, let me see. Okay, I would love to know the state of the Filipino community in New York City right now. How is it? Would you say that we're a little bit more prideful, we're out there, or is it as as in the shadows as it was in 2007?
I think we're more out there now, because all the different streaming platforms that's out right now, from YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, all those streaming platforms in general, it opened up a lot of doors.
Right.
So a lot of people, they're creating things. They're just doing their own thing, just trying to get themselves out there, coming up with their own stories. So it's a great time, just in general, because of all those platforms. It's opened up a lot of doors, and it's like basically, we're able to tell our stories now from based on whenever we feel like it. Right. Rather than just waiting for somebody.
Right.
So hopefully that will, open up some doors, bring in some clients, people that want to invest in us.
I see it as, we are now growing up, as the kids and as the children of our parents in this generation. We are now going into these levels and positions where we can kind of call the shots. We're becoming creative directors. We're becoming, leaders and entrepreneurs that can call the shots within these little businesses and even big businesses sometimes, And now, do you see that the opportunities now have gotten a little bit easier to grasp, or is it something still would be okay, the Filipinos are still have a lot of catching up to do?
It's kind of in the middle, I mean, I still think we have a long way to go.
Yeah.
But at the same time, because because there's a bunch of creators, Filipino creators in general, that are out there just trying to help out the community. I mean, there's genuine Filipinos out there that really wants to bring others up, with us. And for me, I want to bring everybody up.
Welcome to the Filipinos in a 6 New York to Cali tour, presented by Dear Flor. Proudly Filipino and women-owned, Dear Flor is on a mission to bring you vibrant flavors and a vibrant culture. We've crafted the first ever line of 100% vegan gummies featuring unique Filipino tastes like ube, calamansi, buko pandan, and mango. Taste the culture with Dear Flor and join us in celebrating Filipino flavors on Filipinos in a 6 New York City to Cali tour. Check them out at dearflor.com and follow at Love Dear Flor on Instagram. Right. And do you see that there are certain key figures that do a good job in elevating the Filipino culture in a public figure right now?
Oh yeah, I mean, you guys are one of them. Filipinos in the 6. I mean,
Filipinos in the 6, baby.
I mean, you guys are doing a great job. I mean, I love what you're doing. Just just promoting, and showcasing and interviewing, people in the entertainment industry. So yeah, you guys obviously, and then you got you're well known. You got your your Joe Coy, your Rob Schneider. Who's the girl that man, I'm drawing a mind blank, but the girl that sings.
Olivia Rodrigo. Shouts to her. Well, there's so many. Like I said, I mentioned in the other episode, Danny Brown was an underground rapper, or a little bit mainstream now.
Even comedians. I just found out, even Pedro.
Keith, shouts to Keith. That's my kuya, man. Shouts to Keith, man.
Yeah.
He's my brother.
I've been watching you.
He hosted my festival 2 weeks ago, actually. Him and Big Norm, shouts to Big Norm, who also was Filipinos in the 6 host.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that humor is rooted within the Filipino community, so it's like, this thing that we can't really like get rid of. It's naturally, it's innate, it's just in us. So, I think we can't really get away from it. But I do feel like there is this rise of Filipino representation, right? And not just like us being on the back end anymore.
Yeah.
It's almost like as soon as the Jabberwockies came out and started like winning all these things and representing for us, we kind of bust through the door. Do you find that like the New York scene has been a little bit more vocal about like their heritage, or how much importance does that have to be Filipino, or could you just be like a good actor?
A combination of both. I mean, New York. I mean, this is where everyone's like trying to make it. If you can make it in New York, you can pretty much make it anywhere. So if we can make it here, we definitely can make it elsewhere. And I believe that we've already made it, But we still have to open up more doors, still try to help out others in general.
I'm curious to know, man, like especially I come from Toronto, Toronto back in the day was called Screwface City.
Yeah.
And Screwface City meaning in a sense where we're not necessarily proud of ourselves in that sense. It's not our brightest times. But, there was a time where, especially me growing up, being Filipino wasn't like the forefront of my identity. I wasn't going to, say that. Especially I was born in the Philippines. I was raised in the Philippines. I moved to Toronto. So I'm trying to be Canadian.
Yeah.
I'm not Filipino. I'm Canadian. One of you guys. And I was wondering like how much of being Filipino growing up for you, had an influence to now championing that.
My parents, I mean, they always taught me to be proud of my own culture. Yeah. So for me, I've always been proud to be Filipino. I've never like swayed away from saying I'm not Filipino American.
That's cool.
So I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
And like, I do my best to also learn about Filipino culture. Just because, I was raised here doesn't mean I know about the Filipino culture itself. So, I read up on it. Read up on our own history, from our own island, and then, read up on history about Filipino Americans.
When's the last time you were back?
I was back in 2019. I was in Cebu and Bohol.
Okay, is that where your family's from?
No, they're from Cavite. So I'm from Cavite.
Cool. My dad's there.
No way.
Yeah. He's in, I think that's Marinas.
Oh, okay.
That's where where in Cavite?
Nike. Yeah, I'm in
like Nike.
Something like that, but Nike. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. All right, and then you were there 2019. And you haven't been since back.
No, but I'm hoping to come back next year. I'm hoping to visit.
Yeah, I mean, and then you could find some talents. Is that a possibility to like? Well, I mean, like now there's like the whole thing with visas and stuff. Like, I mean, that's always complicated. Do you find the importance of like connecting the Philippines with some work out here, or do you have like people in the Philippines?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Sometimes we have well-known like Filipino filmmakers and actors. They'll be in New York City or New Jersey. They'll just be visiting, and they want to collaborate. So I've collaborated with a few of them. So I've been blessed to be connected to them. Most of my connections happen through the International Film Festival Manhattan, so shout out to them.
Okay.
That's run by a Filipino organizer, founder. He founded that film festival.
Right.
So they have it in every October during Filipino American History Month. But yeah, I met a lot of them there, and that's how I've been able to connect.
I'm also curious, it just popped into my head, is there any areas or cities or states, I guess, within U.S. that you find that, you know, there's a lot more, you know, Filipino support or Filipino pride within certain states, or is it kind of like, man, all throughout?
I mean, I would say obviously it'll be more in, you know, New York and LA.
New York and LA are you think
two.
are the two, you know, are the two champions and the loudest voices
Correct.
when it comes to, and why do you think that is?
Just the you know, where when everyone comes to the U.S., they're thinking, let's go, you know, go to LA or go to California. You know, it's just the way we migrated, you know, in general, or go to New York. You know, so
in Canada, it's Winnipeg.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, the highest concentration of Filipino population is in Winnipeg. Correct me if I'm wrong, and you can just bleep this out if I'm super wrong. But I believe that Winnipeg has the highest concentration of Filipinos, which is funny because Winnipeg is also probably one of the coldest places in Canada. I don't know why we're going over there.
I was thinking it would be like Toronto or...
Yeah, Toronto is great. Yeah. I would have thought so too. Or Vancouver, somewhere where there's not much snow, but I feel like we like ice.
Okay.
You know? I'm also curious to know, like, you know, how do you think the Filipino community in New York City can better support each other?
Pretty much just going out to their events, or if they're on, you know, if they're starring in a film or a part of a film, you want to go out there and just go out there and watch it. You know, you just want to support the Filipino community. You know, just in general, whatever project that they're a part of, just go out there and support them. You know?
Is there any grassroots initiatives or production companies that are like mainly coming together that's predominantly Filipino creatives within New York City? For example, like, you know, in Toronto we have Kid Studio. Kid Studio is pretty much the biggest, you know, production company when it comes to like also impact. When it comes to, they've done, you know, all of the weekends earlier music videos, you know, and they're doing a lot of big names now. So is there something like that when it comes to New York? Is there a collective?
Not yet, but, you know, I mean, I like to think that I play a role as far as, you know, the production side of it, because I'll actually provide, you know, cast and crew. You know, so I'll do both. If the filmmaker needs crew members, I got them. And the best part about, you know, getting the talents that are under Talent and Skills is that the crew members, they also have an acting background. So that's how I, you know, pitch it to my clients. And
is there like government support when it comes to this, like grants and like any funding at all?
Oh, there is.
Okay.
I mean, the tax incentives are amazing. Like New Jersey's like 34%, something around there.
Okay.
New York's a lot too as well. So there's a lot of grants that filmmakers can take advantage of in general.
Perfect. And is like I said, is there any like individuals, you say like Filipino directors from New York that's kind of like doing their thing right now? Filipino actors is like on the rise right now. That's on your radar.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of them. You know, like Vincent Belosa, he's very talented. So he's one of the talented filmmakers that I collaborate with every now and then. So yeah, there's a bunch of us out there.
There's this indie film that I saw, Altar Boy. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's about a altar, like a church server, and he's Filipino, but it's all the way in Edmonton. It's really quite interesting. You should check it out. Have you heard of it?
Okay, no, I haven't.
Yeah, you should check it out.
Has it made its way in the U.S. yet?
I think so. It's done a bunch of festivals and stuff. And I guess to cap it off, like I wanted to see, like, you know, what would you like to see, you know, Filipinos, I mean, I guess we asked that kind of, like do more when it comes to like supporting each other, other than like, you know, going out to support one another. To each other's events.
I mean, just pretty much, you know, we just need a lot more people to get more involved, like even behind the scenes, you know, writing-wise, film crew, just to get more involved. If they're passionate about it. If they're passionate about, you know, definitely, you know, go out there.
Because you understand that a lot of Filipinos battle the parental need to be a nurse.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and what kind of advice would you say to like just go after something like that?
I mean, you don't want to be miserable. So if you really are passionate about the entertainment industry, you want to go out there and pursue it. And
Yeah.
maybe at first your parents maybe like, I don't really support this.
Yeah.
But when you start like actually doing something in the industry, then they'll be proud. Like I know, my parents, they were proud when they started seeing me, on the big screen and stuff like that. They're like, oh, wow. I would take my mom to some of my premieres and stuff like that. And, she would have a good time.
Yeah, that's true. Like, there's a lot of power in seeing it in real life. And that's the validity that we, that they kind of need. They need to see it in real life so that it's not all imaginatory. And is there steps that you would advise for someone to take? Let's say if someone was curious watching this right now, curious to take the steps and leap into acting, into showbiz?
There's always, you always should pay your dues. Meaning when I say pay your dues, I'm talking about like, take some acting classes or go to acting school. If you want to specialize in commercial, you take a commercial class, but don't discount taking classes or even getting an acting coach, things like that. You definitely want to pay your dues. Or like if you're trying to get into modeling, watch like America's Next Top Model. That's not a pitch, but you want to watch that show because you'll learn something out of it. There's shows out there that you can learn whatever craft that you're trying to get into. So that's what I recommend. Just there's so many videos you can watch on YouTube when it comes to stuff like that. As far as singing, you definitely want to get a vocal coach, sing with a choir, your local choir, things like that. You definitely want to just pay your dues. That's what I say.
Hey, man, this has been a blessing to come over here, be in New York with Filipinos in the 6ix, New York City to Cali tour, and sit down and talk to you and kind of like pick your brain on this world of casting and showbiz and especially for in the Filipino perspective. So thank you for sitting down with us to share these insights, years of insights. So I guess on behalf of Filipinos in the 6ix, we thank you for blessing us with all this wisdom and knowledge.
No, thank you for having me. So
man, thank you so much. Yeah, 1000%.